Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. This is chapter 5 of class 9 mathematics of NCERT syllabus. Today we are going to learn about Euclid's geometry. The word geometry comes from the Greek words geo meaning the earth and metrein meaning to measure. Euclid, a teacher of mathematics at Alexandria in Egypt, collected all the known work of geometry and arranged it in his famous treatise called Elements. He divided the elements into 13 chapters, each called a book. These books influenced the whole world's understanding of geometry for generations to come. Euclid summarized the statements as definitions. He began his exposition by listing 23 definitions in book 1 of the Elements. A few of them are given below. A point is that which has no part. A line is breadthless length. The ends of a line are points. A straight line is a line which lies evenly with the points on itself. A surface is that which has length and breadth only. The edges of a surface are lines. A plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with the straight lines on itself. In geometry, we take a point, a line, and a plane as undefined terms. Starting with his definitions, Euclid assumed certain properties which were not to be proved. These assumptions are actually obvious universal truths. He divided them into two types, axioms and postulates. He used the term postulate for the assumptions that were specific to geometry. Common notions, often called axioms, on the other hand, were assumptions used throughout mathematics and not specifically linked to geometry. Some of Euclid's axioms are discussed below. 1. Things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. 2. If equals are added to equals, the wholes are equal. 3. If equals are subtracted from equals, the remainders are equal. 4. Things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. 5. The whole is greater than the part. 6. Things which are double of the same things are equal to one another. 7. Things which are halves of the same thing are equal to one another. The first axiom could be applied to plane figures. For example, if an area of a triangle equals the area of a rectangle and the area of the rectangle equals that of a square, then the area of the triangle also equals the area of the square. Magnitudes of the same kind can be compared and added, but magnitudes of different kinds cannot be compared. For example, a line cannot be added to a rectangle, nor can an angle be compared to a pentagon. The fourth axiom seems to say that if two things are identical, that is, they are same, then they are equal. In other words, everything equals itself. It is the justification of the principle of superposition. Axiom 5 gives us the definition of greater than. For example, if a quantity B is part of another quantity, then A can be written as the sum of B and some third quantity C. Symbolically, A greater than B means that there is some C such that A is equal to B plus C. Now let us discuss Euclid's 5 postulates. Postulate 1. A straight line may be drawn from any one point to any other point. Postulate 2. A terminated line can be produced indefinitely on either sides. Postulate 3. A circle can be drawn with any center and any radius. Postulate 4. All right angles are equal to one another. Postulate 5. If a straight line falling on two straight lines makes the interior angles on the same side of it taken together less than two right angles, then the two straight lines, if produced indefinitely, meet on that side on which the sum of the angles is less than two right angles. From the above conclusion, we can see that postulate 5 is a far more complex than any other postulate. postulate 1 through 4 are so simple and obvious that these are taken as self-evident truths. However, it is not possible to prove them. So these statements are accepted without any proof. A system of axioms is called consistent if it is impossible to deduce from these axioms a statement that contradicts any axiom or previously proved statement. So, when any system of axioms is given, it needs to be ensured that the system is consistent. After Euclid stated his postulates and axioms, he used them to prove other results. Then, using these results, he proved some more results by applying deductive reasoning. The statements that were proved are called propositions or theorems. Euclid deduced 465 propositions in a logical chain using his axioms, postulates, definitions, and theorems proved earlier in the chain. Equivalent versions of Euclid's fifth postulate. Euclid's fifth postulate may be stated in either of the following two ways. Firstly, for every line L and for every point P not lying on L, there exists a unique line M passing through P and parallel to L. Or in other words, two distinct intersecting lines cannot be parallel to the same line. Euclid did not require his fifth postulate to prove his first 28 theorems. Many mathematicians, including him, were convinced that the fifth postulate is actually a theorem that can be proved using just the first 4 postulates and other axioms. However, all attempts to prove the fifth postulate as a theorem have failed, but these efforts have led to a great achievement: the creation of several other geometries. These geometries are quite different from Euclidean geometry. They are called non-Euclidean geometries. Their creation is considered a landmark in the history of thought, because till then everyone had believed that Euclid's was the only geometry and the world itself was Euclidean. Now the geometry of the universe we live in has been shown to be a non-Euclidean geometry. In fact, it is called spherical geometry. In spherical geometry, lines are not straight. They are parts of great circles, that is, circles obtained by the intersection of a sphere and planes passing through the center of the sphere. Thus, Euclidean geometry is valid only for the figures in the plane. On the curved surfaces, it fails. Thank you. In the next video, I am going to solve a few questions from the exercise. Till then, keep watching.